Welcome to AC Today. On October the 11th, the Men's Ministry Department, which falls under our Relationship Ministries, decided to host a one-day men's retreat right here in Pine Forge. And of course, I'm not male, so I asked my husband Andre to check the event out for me, see what was really going on. I was curious to find out why these men decided to attend.
I have a love for men's ministry. Again, like I said, I really enjoy when men can come together and engage each other and just have conversation about real life issues.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, first it was my dad, because he said he was going to go to Washington, but then I guess he was wrong. But I really wanted to go to Washington, and I think it's later. I don't know.
Okay.
But I hope it's later. And I wanted to go to Washington, but then we went to Pine Forge, and then I heard that Dr. Lawson, that's his name, right?
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, I saw him at my church, and he said, and he was telling me about it, and it sounded really fun to me, so I wanted to go.
So Dad made you come?
Yeah.
And are you happy that you came? Are you happy that you came?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, kind of. Okay, good.
Well, yeah, fully. I'm all happy.
No problems.
Over 80 men from various parts of Allegheny East gathered together at Pine Forge for this men's retreat. The retreat began with a devotional thought, then attendees were divided into two groups. One group heard from Dr. George Thornton, while the other group heard from Mr. Ronnie Vanderhorst. Now, of course, I was curious about what these men were discussing.
The topic, the theme of the topic that I was presenting is who wears the pants in the family or in the household. And the premises of that is that men has to understand their masculine role, their responsibility, taking initiative, taking leadership role as priests, as provider and protector of their home.
That sounded pretty intense. I wonder what was going on the other side of things.
I think that it would probably be best encapsulated in what my wife's brother said. If you teach or if you preach, if you don't live what you teach or preach, it's just a speech and it won't reach.
Wow.
So it's the lived word.
Yeah.
What our village, what our churches, what our co-workers can see.
Yes.
As far as a Christ man in us.
Wow.
Is probably the takeaway.
Live the word.
That's correct.
Live what you preach. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now it sounds like both of those sessions were pretty power-packed, empowering, as that was the theme for the event. Now, of course, presenters always have high hopes for their attendees, but I wonder if the attendees were really taking away the messages that the presenters hoped.
You know, it pretty much was just letting us know as men, we need to regain the role that God had for us, and not as being a dictator, but he talked about, Christ being the head of the church. Christ was a leader, however, Christ was a servant leader, and that's one of the things that I took away, and, being the head of my home, not in a dictatorship type of role, but being a servant leader, to my wife, to my kids, and leading in love, leading in the respect that, I am a servant, but at the same time, I'm taking on my responsibility as a leader, as a priest of my home. So
it's been awesome so far. I mean, I came here this morning, and the seminar has been really great. I love the fact that men get to share with other men, what they're going through and what they've been doing to resolve some situation in their marriages, and I think that's priceless.
He was talking about being a priest in the home.
Yes.
And a priest resembles Christ in the home.
Yeah.
And I can testify that I've never struggled. I've never had issues with my wife being submissive. But when we started on early in the marriage, I was not a priest, and it was very tough. I started realizing, like Dr. Thornton and a couple of the older guys were saying, the issue is with you. Sort you out first. And then after you do that, and especially if you have a God-fearing woman on the other side, if you sort yourself out, everything kind of falls into place.
That is so true.
There are times when I think that I know a lot about relationships, but when I come to meetings like this, I come to realize that there's very little that I know.
And, thus far with Dr. Vanderhorst, it was wonderful presentation. It was very formative, and It's not enough time.
Yes. Oh, for some more time, I tell you.
Yeah, today has been an interesting experience to come fellowship with the brothers and learn about how we can grow spiritually as brothers and and learn that some things we've lost in between the way.
Yes.
Overall, it was a good experience. It's something that, I can definitely take with me and share with others.
It was really fun because, it was just fun. Because some of the pastors were funny. I really like that George Thornton. He was really funny.
You enjoyed him?
What he said, yeah.
Really? Okay, good deal.
Well, I think it was a wonderful experience for me. Obviously, you come into something like this thinking that you would know everything if you heard everything. But obviously, when God definitely moved within the atmosphere today and things just pulled at our spirit, you could see the men after a while really sunk in, and everything that was being said, we knew that it was being moved by the Spirit. So it was a wonderful experience for me.
The Lord directed me to come here, and it's an experience I'll never forget, being in the classroom with real men, real pastors.
Well, it seems like these men really left inspired. That's wonderful. Dr. Trusty, of course, expressed some desires for not just the men attending the retreat, but for all men.
Is men's ministry, in your opinion, still a viable ministry in our church?
Okay, I have to be really honest
please.
about this.
Please.
Because men's ministry, I have to be honest and say no. But it can be and it should be. There is too much of men, too many of us are laying back and not taking up our rightful place. Our families are affected, our children are affected, our wives are affected, our mothers are affected, simply because we are not taking the step and the role that we should take. If that was to happen, you will not see more men at the bar and more women at the church.
Wow.
You would see more equity if we would simply take our rightful place. And this is the challenge. Women's ministry, they're doing well. Women, they just work so well together. But when we come together, there's just some challenges. And if we do not take our role, it's going to get bad and worse in the future.
Wow. And staying on this topic of taking our role, can I ask you, Dr. Trusty, what is one thing that you believe is holding us as men back from taking our role or taking back our rightful place as leaders in our homes and in our churches?
We have to stop blaming the women.
We're good at that.
That's all we do. It's the women. They're acting like men. No, it's because we are not being men. We are limiting ourselves. And as long as we always have excuses why we are not doing, the problem is not the excuse, the problem is with us.
Yes.
And we lack that area of being good biblical leaders. I sit and I ask men, do you pray with your wife? No. Those who do pray, do you call your wife's name out in prayer? No. We have to be spiritual leaders. Stop with the excuses of focusing on the females and just be a man of God.
Yes.
Be a man of prayer, be a man of the word. That will help to restore us.
Absolutely. What do you want the men to take away from this experience today?
We have some excellent presenters.
Yes, we do.
Dr. George Thornton.
Yes, we do.
In his presentation, he has demonstrated self-disclosure that just blew the men out of the box.
Phenomenal.
And he helped the men to understand, learn yourself, have a relationship with yourself, be good to yourself. And so with his presentation, it's imperative for the men that I want them to take away. Love who you are. Be a priest of your home. Understand the value of manhood and masculinity. And if you are married, take care of your wife. Are you all listening to me on this one? Take care of what God has given to you.
Sure.
Now, Ron Vanderhorst, well, we know he's very substantive in his process. And he is teaching men in detail what it means to be a man. What masculinity really means. With so many men being raised by females, they don't have a clue And they need to understand. And this is what I want these men to leave here with. I want them to be empowered.
Yeah.
And I want them to stop staying in the background and hiding. That when you're hurting, don't choose isolation. Choose God to be reconciled and be restored and take your rightful place. And this is what I'm hoping, that when these men leave here today, and I'm here to tell you, these facilitators are teaching the men
Yes,
that.
they are.
And when they go back, by God's grace, they will be intentional about doing what they are being told.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trusty. I appreciate that. With God, all things are possible. We look forward to seeing and hearing more of wonderful seminars like this today.
Thank you so very much. All right.
All right, now that the retreat was over, it's great to have retreats, but what happens when you go back to your local church, right? So I wanted to know what these men were returning to in terms of men's ministry when they went back home.
Is men's ministry at your local church, is it one that's up and running? Are they active?
Yeah. Actually, I attend West Philadelphia Seventh-day Adventist
West
Church.
Philly?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so men's ministry leader there is Tyrone Green, and he's doing an awesome job.
Wonderful.
Yes, men's ministry is up and running. Of course, we would want it to be a little more active, but this is work in progress.
Okay.
Let me put it that way.
Sure.
Men's ministry is up and running. It's not going as well as I would hope or like for it to be. But hopefully in time that will improve.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is the hope.
Yeah, things happening. We're trying to get more stuff going on. We're trying to get a men's basketball league.
Sounds
and
good.
more men's ministry programs after church every week.
Awesome. Okay.
It used to be. Now it's going through a transition period where it's almost non-existent. And we trying, there's a few of us still trying to keep it alive and keep things moving. But it takes more than one or two when we have a church. But we're not giving up.
Right.
You're not giving up.
Yeah.
Men's ministry in our church, it's been vibrant. I usually have barbecue as men and sit and talk session in the evenings. And usually do some ministry going to feed the homeless and all that.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, it's been there. We want a bit more, but society and things that calls for us in the society to be available has kept us quite busy.
Gotcha.
At the time, my younger brother, who was also here today, he's in charge of men's ministry, and I'm kind of proud of him.
It's semi-functional. Obviously, you start the year off really well, but then things kind of slow off in the summertime. But it's something that we're trying to move forward and trying to build it a little bit more, a little more consistency. So it's not functioning as well, but we're all working on it.
And we are doing we go out into the community. We are hitting on subjects that most men are afraid to talk about, but we talk about them every other Friday night.
Every other Friday night at the church. Wonderful.
Yes.
So it's ongoing. It's
ongoing.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so it appears we have a little mixture. We have some groups that are not doing as well as they would like, some that are going really well, and some that are on their way there. What is your men's ministry group doing? Some exciting things going on in your church? Well, we want to know about it. Please let us know at myaectoday@gmail.com. Email us. Let us know what your men's ministry group is doing. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.